Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Tatjana Luethi. I'm the executive producer of our upcoming conference called Together. And I'm pleased to have here with me Runa Bouius, a conscious leadership consultant in Catalyst, and Gene Sullivan, principal at Sullivan Coaching, who both are speakers and workshop leaders for our upcoming women's conference called Together, which will take place this September 13 and 14 at WeWork in Hollywood. So, hello, Runa. Hello, Gene. How are you both this morning?
Hi, good morning. Feeling
Good
very
morning.
good and excited.
Good morning. Good morning. Hi, Gene. How are you today?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good.
I'm really happy to be here with you and Runa to have this conversation this morning.
Me too. I'm very excited about it. So, what we're going to do today is we're going to engage in a brief 10-minute conversation around the topic of purpose within the context of business. But before we go there, what I'd like to do is invite both of you to just give us a little bit of an idea who you are and what it is that you do. And maybe Runa, if you would please give us the honor and go first, that would be great.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, my name is Runa Bouius, and I come from Iceland, where I was an entrepreneur for 20 years. I was, unbeknownst to me, practicing many of these principles we talk about in conscious business today, as I founded and run my a number of businesses there. And since I sold these businesses, I have been exploring and we could say cultivating these principles more and more. And I am now really passionate about supporting others, particularly women, and which we are doing through the Together conference, supporting women in creating a more fulfilling and meaningful life through their passion and through their vocation. And purpose that we will talk about today is definitely one part of that.
Okay, great. Thank you, Runa. Awesome. Gene, please tell us about who you are and what you do.
Thanks, Tatjana. Well, I have a consulting business and a coaching business here in Los Angeles called Sullivan Coaching Programs, and I work with entrepreneurs and executives to be more conscious in their work. And I'm also involved in a very exciting international coalition called the Conscious Business Coalition. And we work specifically with conscious business owners around the world who are formulating ideas and launching conscious businesses.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Gene. Okay, so now let's actually talk about purpose. So to contextualize it a bit, what we mean by that, Runa, I know that you both refer to purpose within the context of the four pillars. So, Runa, what would you say? What are the four pillars? Where do they come from? And why are we starting out by talking about purpose first?
Right. Um, where does this come from? This really comes from a movement that is spreading all over this country, and actually it's a global movement. We could say we are creating a community, and it is under the umbrella of conscious capitalism. And what that is really a philosophy um, of how to conduct our business. It's people coming together, understanding that the way we have conducted business, which is about solely looking at creating profit for the funders, for the shareholders, is not really viable anymore. So conscious capitalism is a movement that is not looking at profit as the number one focus, but they start with the purpose. They start with why does our business exist? Why are we doing what we are doing? And that fuels everything else. And the byproduct of that is to create the profit that is, of course, absolutely necessary to run a business. So the conscious capitalism, they come up with four pillars, or we could say four areas that they talk about that creates this philosophy. And I think it's important just to mention what these pillars are, and then we will dive in the first one, which is the purpose. The other ones are what we call stakeholders orientation. And what that is that instead of the business just being about me and my things, it's about it's about us, it's about what we do together. It's the relationship between everybody that comes to make that business alive. And that means all the employees, the vendors, the suppliers, the customers, the community, and the local community and the global community as well. It's really based on what we see in nature, where we understand that when we look into nature of things, that everything is interconnected and interdependent. So that's what we are doing with the stakeholders orientation. We are creating win-win win-win for all the people in the ecosystem. Then we talk about conscious leadership, and what that is that again we focus on the we versus the me. It is conducted by leaders, which we refer to as conscious leaders. They are more servants of the business. They are servants first and foremost to the purpose, and they are servants to the people that they have in their ecosystem. And so they lead their business in a very mindful and conscious way. And then the leaders, they make sure to foster what we call conscious culture, which is the fourth pillar. And that is really the glue that puts everything together and makes it become alive through embodiment. It is the principles, the values, the practices, the behaviors that we conduct every day that in a way is what we show the world, and is what people tap into and hopefully want to be a part of if it is something that engages them and speaks to them. Mm. So these are the other pillars, and the beginning pillar is the purpose. And I know that Gene works a lot with people creating or starting businesses where the purpose is the first thing we go to, and it's based on the question why we are doing what we are doing. So Gene, would you like to take that? Because you are so great at this.
Thank you very much, Runa. There's a really great TED Talk by Simon Sinek, and he's written a great book called Start With Why. And it's been my experience that he's right on the money, that that people's motivation, why they do something, whether it's why they do the work that they do or why they start the business that they start, it's really central to success. And the reason that it's central to success is for a couple of reasons. On an individual basis, having a purpose gives us that sense of meaning. And when we have a connection with what we're doing, then we're likely to persist. And if you're starting a business or you're working in a job, there are always challenges. And having that deeper connection, that personal connection, allows us to be resilient, allows us to continue going, and allows us to be more successful just by our persistence alone. The other thing is, for a corporation or organization to have a purpose, it has a profound impact on its employees. There's a recent study that found that 82% of employees that worked for a company that had a clear purpose were excited about working in that company and felt the company would be successful. But only 48% of people who worked in companies without a clear purpose and sense of purpose felt confident and positive about their business. So it has a real impact whether we're working in an organization or whether we're starting one. And as Runa was pointing out, having that sense of purpose really informs all the different aspects of the pillar, because the people who are our stakeholders, who have an interest in us being successful, they will relate to us based on what we believe and what we're doing. That's another way to say our purpose. What are we advocating for? What are we promoting in the world? It's sort of the point of attraction for both customers, for employees, and for investors.
So it's kind of like the focal point, as you call it. And I wonder, because sometimes, Runa, I hear you talk about it being a higher purpose. In the sense of, is that what you're referring to, just to what Gene just said right now? It dictates and informs, it gives it the focal point for everybody involved.
Right. Yeah, higher purpose, or the other word he used was a deeper purpose. When we dive into the deeper waters of what gives us fulfillment and meaning, what really nurses us on the deepest level, as an individual, as a human being. And when we can tap into that place, and connect with others, whether it's individuals like you, Tatjana, doing such a great work out in the world, or an organization. When that connection happens, I always say magic happens. Then you pull out all your gifts and talents to support that cause. So if you are an employee for a company where you totally resonate with the purpose of the company, you will show up every morning excited and enthusiastic and supportive, and your creativity will come through. And so you are part of a team. And collaboration is one of the key words for everything we do within conscious business, because we can't do anything alone. So when we have team members that are passionate and enthusiastic and coming from their deepest purpose, that's where the magic happens.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, so we talked about obviously the purpose within the context of business, and we talked about why it is so relevant for a company to have a higher purpose. We already started talking about it a bit in regards to the employee, but I want to ask, from the perspective of an employee, if one's own purpose is far away from the purpose of the company, how should an employee go about that? What's the impact on the company in and of itself if the employee's purpose is not in alignment with the company? Or what if an employee, him or herself, doesn't even know what her or his purpose is? What's the impact?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. The impact is significant. Most of the research shows that what we suffer from in the U.S. and is a lack of employee engagement, and so I think you're pointing at a really significant problem. And there's been some great research that shows that really what motivates people is those intrinsic things, the intrinsic goals that they have, the things that are meaningful and important to them. And so that the alignment between the personal goals and the company goals can be really important. And I think that's why we find, so many people who have been successful at their work are beginning to ask themselves, is there more? Unless they're working for a company that really inspires them and really is purpose driven, they're beginning to say, what's the best use of my life? What's the best use of my time? And they often begin this, this inner journey that says, okay, what is really important to me? And I think that's the beginning of a transformational process for people. And I think it's a very exciting one where there's both the opportunity for them in their exploration to challenge the company to be more responsible to the needs of their employees, for instance. But it also gives them an opportunity to really to step into their own sense of what's important and really begin to direct their life from that place. So I think it's really important, and I think it's one of the keys of conscious leadership to make sure that our companies are really clear about, particularly that our conscious businesses are clear about what we stand for and what we want to offer, so people can sort of see where they belong. And it does, as Runa was talking, it taps into that real energy of people's creativity and partnership and collaboration.
Now, you mentioned something interesting for the employees to actually challenge maybe the company and also to step into their own sense of what it is that the employee stands for, which leads me to my next question. So let's just say, what if that's not possible, right, within an organization, and somebody steps out and decides, to take your own personal purpose and make it or merge it into your own business? How do you do that?
Yeah. Um, I think that getting it's actually to some degree getting quiet and really making a list and seeing those things that are most important. What are the things that really touch our hearts? What are the things that really inspire us and are meaningful to us? And beginning to think about, from that perspective, where can we make a difference? Who are the people that would benefit from what we're passionate about, what we really care about? So I know, for instance, I'm very inspired by what you're doing, Tatjana, with the school and the Together conference, in bringing women together and creating a structure, and for them to really discover and express, their unique self and what they want to express in business. And I think that this question really speaks to that. And I think when we get grounded in what's important, and then we begin to look out in the world and find those people, whether they're going to be people that we work with in collaboration or whether they're going to be our customers, whether we find those people that resonate with what is important to us, that really, gives us a good foundation to begin to explore, what business should I create? What business makes sense? What business is connected with me, but also is going to provide important value to people in the world that I care about.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Tatjana, I could add to this just from my own personal journey, having been an entrepreneur in my early 20s and founding two businesses in the industry of cosmetic and perfumes. I was both a wholesaler in Iceland, working with many suppliers all over the world, particularly in France, in Paris. And I, I was so young when I started that I didn't know about any of these things we are talking about here. I wasn't conscious about my purpose or how I was doing things, but I knew I was helping women. I was helping both men and women, but particularly women. I was helping them with their outer appearance, with the way that they felt about themselves. I was helping them with their confidence. And then came the time for me personally that I felt that that wasn't enough, that it didn't give me deep enough meaning what I was doing. Plus, I had built the business, I'd run it for 20 years. The fund was also in the building. And I needed to grow and learn and explore myself. And I knew I had to start with myself to find out exactly what is my deeper purpose. So that is what led me to my own journey, coming to the US and diving into all kinds of apprenticeship and training with different teachers and different teachings to really find out why am I here on the planet and what do I have to contribute and who are the people who might benefit from what I'm doing. So here I am representing really my deepest purpose, which is to facilitate a higher level of consciousness, particularly in the world of business. And one of my sweet spots is to support women because I am a woman, I am an entrepreneur, and so I feel I'm supporting women who are very much like me. And I look at you, Tatjana, and I look at you nearly like a younger version of me on your journey and on your search. And that's why we connect so beautifully. And so I would say that I am creating a new business, which is having a deeper meaning and deeper value. And I am committed to be of service out to the world by bringing or helping people to find this deeper meaning and purpose, and then to start creating the structures that can help them to be of service to others while sustaining themselves financially at the same time.
Right, exactly, which is always a big topic that we're having, within the community. So what I really hear is multiple things. It sounds like that purpose is actually constantly evolving. It's not that we just have one purpose, but it adjusts and evolves throughout the different stages that we go through life. And that reinventing, regardless if it's on a personal level or a business level, is also something that constantly is a conscious effort. It's a job that we have to do. We have to take the responsibility to do so. And the last thing I want to speak to is I love when you say, Runa, that you stand for humanizing business. I think that that's really what we all, you, Runa, Gene, myself, and everyone that's represented at the conference. We're really merging, and I'm gonna say the humanness within business, where we're bringing passion, purpose, and profit together, so it becomes a holistic and sustainable way of being with each other personally and on a business level. So with that, we're going to have to wrap it up. So I just want to thank you very much for being here today. We're all super excited to um, be seeing you at the conference, in our panels, and the workshops that you both are going to be leading. So I just want to leave our audience with the dates really quick of the conference. It will take place on September 13 and 14 at WeWork in Hollywood. It will be a 2-day conference for women, where women will learn simple yet critical skills to thrive in today's changing marketplace. It's going to be interactive panels and workshops that are designed to inspire purpose, clarify direction, and instill effective action. We are running an early bird. However, it's going to be expiring this week. So the early bird is $299. Starting next week, it will jump to $449. I also want to take a quick opportunity here to thank our supporting sponsors, which includes Whole Foods in Venice, WeWork in Hollywood, Runa Bouius, we have Vidra Media, AIGA, to see our full lineup of amazing speakers. Please go to schooltogether.com. That's SK, like King, schooltogether.com. And we're all looking forward to see everybody, including Runa and Gene, at the Together conference in 5 weeks.
Well, thank you for having us.
We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.
Bye now.